years back, and my dad said, quote, "That's not good enough if you want to become a nurse. Nurses don't get C's. So you can either do two things, study really hard to get a higher grade, or lose a good 30 pounds so that a wealthy man will find you attractive and support you for the rest of your life." I try not to cry after hearing what my parents have to say, but that one hit me hard. It kills me that no matter what I do, I still can't please my parents, and they still can't see beyond my body image. Indulge me with one more passage from a student, since it sounds like you were engaged. And it relates to this point that Jeff was just talking about around Latinas' attitudes around obesity. There's an interesting article that I talk about in here, which is by Christy Haubegger, and it's titled, "I'm Not Fat, I'm Latina." And one of my students responded to that piece in a very interesting way. The poet, by the way, Audre Lorde, speaks about this very same thing, where she says, I was so sure that skinny was funny or silly, but always white. So this idea that it's kind of a white normative construction, this kind of being skinny thing on some level, and kind of how are people responding to that is interesting. So this student of mine, and she identifies as Hispanic in this passage, and so she is talking about this, what this means to her. She says, and I quote, "One part of my identity that I could never fully embrace is that I am not thin. I could never really accept the fact that my body type and my genetics were against me in my pursuit of being normal. You have to understand that I don't really fit in anywhere. I embrace my friends more than my family because I'm more like myself with them than I permit myself to be around my family. I'm a Hispanic from Chelsea who loves Jane Austen novels and reads for fun. I listen to alternative rock, and I don't speak as if I never attended a day of school in my life. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. In a nutshell, I'm boring. At least that's what I've been called. I have been ridiculed most of my life for so many things because I embraced a white culture. But the one aspect of my heritage I could never really escape was my body type. And that means I will be stuck with these big thighs and butt for the rest of my life. My weight constantly fluctuated, and there were many times when I was called fat to my face. Needless to say, it hurt me a lot because I didn't see it, but apparently I was offending people because I could not restrain my obesity. The nerve I had. I would cry myself to sleep, and I would always put my friends in these horrible positions when they were posed with the question, am I fat? I fought so hard to get over my self-loathing when I was younger, and here I was, 19 years old, and I was back to that stupid, timid, fat 14-year-old. I had to do something. These people who constantly reminded me that I wasn't fit were mocking me, even when they weren't around. Their voices played in my head over and over again. So I took a chance, and I dieted, and I exercised for 4 straight months. I lost 35 pounds. I was 192 pounds and 5'4". I succeeded in separating myself from the pack once again and trying to strip myself away from who I was, a thick Hispanic woman. I don't regret losing weight because I'm happier now, but I do regret letting other people get to me. I regret allowing myself to become weak and break down under the pressures of being thin. But I'm still the fat girl I was. It still hurts me when people remind me of what I used to look like, but I return their hateful words now by telling them to, I guess this is on tape, but to fuck off or something along those lines. There are so many more factors that played into the weight loss game for me, but this is the biggest reason why I did what I did. To please the world around me and to be beautiful, I lost the weight. I can hide behind the fact that diabetes runs on both sides of my family, and therefore I did what I did, but I can't lie. It's such a painful subject for me that I can't tell it without fighting the urge to cry or scream or swear. Am I out of time? I'm out of time. Otherwise, I'd share with you something else that's interesting, but oh well, maybe in Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it was just a really powerful reminder of the emotional and cultural aspects of this that I think Dr. Geller was getting to, and as frankly, we often don't talk about it very much when we're talking about remaking communities, but community is certainly more than paving and schools and school lunches and bicycle paths and all the other things that we think about. So thank you. That was really, really powerful.